Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of People's Real Talk. I'm Latoria,
And I'm her husband, Raymond.
and on today's episode, we're going to talk about the five love languages. Five love languages are a way that a person expresses their love or how they expect to receive love from their partner. And those five love languages are.
Number one is gifts. Number two, acts of service. Number three is words of affirmation. Number four is physical touch. And number five is quality time.
Okay. Um, so one thing that we notice is that some people have no clue what this means, um, nor do they know how to effectively apply it into their relationship. I think for starters, it's important that every person takes the love language quiz. Whether you are in a relationship or not, you should take it. And especially if you are in a relationship, you should take it with your partner, um, because that's how you know how to effectively care for one another. Because what's more important in the ranking as far as numbers of importance for you may not be the same for them. And if you all can't match up on that, you will constantly butt heads as far as how each other gives and receives love.
So we talk about the go through each love language and explain what it means to us.
Yeah,
Okay.
go ahead.
You first? I go first. Okay. So going back to number one with gifts. Gifts, it's twofold. You could love to receive gifts or you could love to give gifts. Some people love to just give gifts and not expect anything in return.
Mm-hmm.
They just love to see you smile, cheer you up, just to make you happy. And then you have the people that some people just love to receive gifts. Um, if you know their favorite food, clothes, some people love gift cards. So whatever it is that they may love to receive, you know, that can be for them as well. So, number two, or do you want to alternate, or you
I'll
want to do?
take number two.
Okay.
Number two is acts of service. And like you said, these are in no particular order, but this is just how we number them. So, number two, we have acts of service. And acts of service could be doing something nice for your partner or them doing something nice for you, such as taking your car and getting it washed and bringing it back full of gas. That's an act of service. That's not something that they had to do, but they did it to show you that they care for you in some way. That was their gesture to show their caring for you or love for you. Um, there are lots of different ways that acts of service can present itself, but essentially that's what it is. It literally is doing a physical act for the person or the person doing a physical act for you that is of importance to you.
That's what I was thinking. Such as, like I'm thinking, like if someone's in the kitchen cooking and the other says, "Hey, do you need some help?" or moving something, or it's just you know a good gesture to offer help, just to let the other person know that you are a partnership,
Mm-hmm.
and that just together you're a team. So yeah.
And it could be something as simple as a massage. A massage is an act of service. If you know your partner had a long, stressful day at work and they often complain about their back hurting, and you all of a sudden break out things to give them a massage to kind of ease their stress or discomfort, That's also an act of service.
No, we're tie that in the physical touch too. Thank you.
That
Appreciate
that
it.
that could also fall under physical touch as well.
Mhm. Three words of affirmation. One of my favorites. Um, words of affirmation. Um, a person wants to know that they're doing a good job, that you're pleased with them, that you appreciate them. It doesn't have to be 24 hours, a day, 7 days a week,
Right.
but sometimes they want reminders that, hey, you're a good person, I love you, you're great, things of that nature. Not so much as trying to receive validation.
Hmm.
It's just to let the other person know that you care about them and you appreciate them.
And it's also a good idea because it also solidifies for them that they're on on the right track. Sometimes in a relationship you can feel like things that you're doing go unnoticed or it's not enough. So if you offer words of affirmation for your partner, it just kind of lets them know that they're doing the right things for you so they don't feel like they need to continue to compensate even harder as if they're not fulfilling your needs or your desires or things like that. So, and then one thing that I had to learn, which I don't know if this is something that a lot of women go through, but it was a struggle for me with the words of affirmation. And I think it's purely cultural because he's a southern boy, I'm a northern girl. That's just not something that we typically do. We kind of consider that ego stroking, if you will. And I definitely didn't come from a culture of women who were in the business of stroking their men's ego. Like, baby, you're doing a good job. I appreciate you doing XYZ. It was kind of our mentality that you were the man. This is what you do. I don't need to tell you good job for doing what you should be doing. But I had to learn my husband and know that that was something that he ranked of high importance as far as the love languages go. So I had to adopt and adapt to that as far as he was concerned. Number four is physical
Physical
touch.
touch.
I think that's self-explanatory. Who doesn't want to be touched? Well, I know there are some people who, this is lower on the totem pole for them. Maybe they're squeamish with a lot of physical contact, but some people really enjoy physical touch from their partner, whether it's like he said, if I'm in the kitchen and I'm cooking and he just comes in there and puts his hands on my back, or the little love pats and taps that you get throughout the day. Those things help solidify in your mind that your partner is one, physically attracted to you still, but it helps to form and forge a bond, um, that can be carried throughout the day. A lot of people struggle with the fact that they aren't as physically connected with their partner as they would like to be. I'm trying to keep it
Mm-hmm.
PG, if you get what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Physically connected with their partner as they would like to be. But you have to understand that a lot of that physicality starts before you make it behind closed doors. So if you go all day without kissing your partner, touching your partner, giving little reminders that they matter, they're important, you're still attracted, there's still a closeness and a connection there, but then you just expect it to begin once the lights go out and the door closes. It can often be harder to jumpstart that from square zero as opposed to if it started
Mm-hmm.
all throughout the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. It can start over the telephone,
Yeah.
over the phone, and then well, like you said, keeping it PG, just
Yeah.
um, and then a constant build up. You know what I mean? Yeah,
Yeah.
we all adults here. Go ahead.
We'll stop there.
Go ahead.
Okay. And then my personal favorite, which is my number one, is quality time. Um, Quality time is very important for me. Um, there are a lot of things that can be done throughout the day to foster quality time. And some people make the mistake of not being able to distinguish between time and quality time. Because for me, and I'm not saying this is across the board for everyone, but for me, just because we are in the same home or in the same room or in the same space, taking up space together, that does not quantify for me as quality time. It's time, but there is no quality in it. So the quality aspect is missing. So quality time for me means there is some sort of bonding, building, togetherness, learning, growing, developing. Something is actively happening to quantify that or qualify that as quality time. Other than that, we're just two people taking up space together, because you can be in a space with your coworker, but that doesn't mean y'all share quality time. That means y'all were in the same place at the same time. So on and so forth. And that can continue going on. So
Hmm. Yeah, I had to learn that one. I had to learn that one from my wife. Because my quality time was we sitting there watching television, we watching a movie, but there was no one-on-one interaction, closeness, just intimate talks. Again, keeping it PG, intimate talks, with us between us and whatnot. So
yeah.
I had to learn that. But would you say I came around?
Oh, he got it. He
Okay,
has it.
all
He
right,
has it now. He understands the difference
all
between time and quality time. So yeah, there is a big difference, and don't let someone tell you that, well, we spent all day together. That may be true, but was it your definition of quality time? So um the important thing with the love languages is it's what's important to you. It's your love language. It's how you show and receive love. That's why it's important for each individual person to take it. And I would say one of our personal stories that we struggled through, as I've said before, we were a young couple. We've been married 27 years, together almost 30. So we were a young couple navigating through a lot of the challenges that young couples do. And communication was a big challenge. So I would say one of our challenges was we struggled with understanding that the love languages were ours and ours alone, and our hierarchies were different as far as the importance of where we ranked each one of these five
mm-hmm.
topics. So we had to learn how to adjust and love each other based on where our numbers of importance were with the hierarchy. For example, my husband would know that I had a stressful day, and because of that, because he loved me, the way that he would show that would be to maybe he would clean up and do some chores around the house so that when I came home, I would not have to take on that challenge of doing said chores. And for him, that was his act of service to me. But for me, acts of service is lower on the totem pole of importance for me. So where he was expecting those very important words of affirmation because of the act of service that he performed for me, he didn't often receive those from me, because what would be more important for me is if he did not do that act of service, and rather we spent that time together in a quality way. So even if that meant we still had to get the thing accomplished that he did, but we did it together and we spent time talking about something that was important to both of us, or anything like that. So where he would fill the time doing the thing to take something off of me, I would much rather just have the time with him. So we kind of butt heads in that area, and we had to learn how to navigate through that, and it was challenging. And for a while he could not understand where I was coming from, because after all, he just spent X amount of time doing this grand gesture, and it didn't seem like the grand gesture was received well or appreciated. Am I right?
Yeah, yeah, that's true. I spend a lot of time kind of dancing around the 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 main focus, which was the quality time. As my wife said, like things with, you know, cleaning a car, cleaning the house, just a whole bunch of things that I thought were nice gestures that would alleviate her from having to do as much because she had a hard day, she had a rough day. Although those things were good, it didn't get to the heart of what she requires as far as a quality time goes. So I could have basically not done any of that, sat down with her, you know, rubbed her feet, hugged her, kissed her, and again, going back to just having that one-on-one time,
Mm-hmm.
that would have been that would have overshadowed everything else that I did.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I had to learn. But
Right.
as she said, I got it now, so
Right.
we're good.
Yep. Let's see. So did we discuss how some people can kind of misconstrue love languages to mean, let's say, if, and it's not, gifts is very low on the totem pole for me, but let's say the um your partner's love language is gifts, and you keep showering them with gifts, but you misconstrued what they meant by gifts being their love language. They're not so much a receiver of gifts, they love to give gifts as their love language. So it's not only important to take the love language quiz, know what your love languages are, know their importance in their hierarchy or ranking. It's also important to talk about and interpret them correctly, because just because gifts is a language doesn't mean giving. It could also mean receiving. You could feel shy and embarrassed and unworthy to receive gifts, but you love to put smiles on other people's faces. So you love to give big, grand gestural gifts. Um, and that goes for all of them. You need to delve deeper and find out what about that particular love language speaks most to your partner. Um, and we have two actual um, websites that we'll put in the description that you can go to and take two individual love language quizzes, so you'll be able to know which ones are your top and be able to rank them in order. And hopefully this will help you to be able to identify how you love and receive love as a person, as well as what your partner or future partner could expect as well.
Yeah, I think taking love language quizzes help build a nice outline for a relationship, and building a good foundation. So
It does. It
yeah,
does. I think it really helps to cut down on a lot of communication struggles, a lot of disagreements in those areas, particularly. Now, of course, there are other things that come up as far as like finances and different things that couples can argue about. But if you can master these five basics, I think you'll find that it'll be a much smoother transition of you understanding one another and understanding yourself, because I think before we can expect to truly know and care for somebody else, we must truly know and care for ourselves. No one else can know how to treat you, how to love you, if you don't know how to treat and love yourself first.
Yeah,
Is there anything
absolutely.
else you wanted to say?
Yeah. Just, I mean, just to master these love languages, I think it'll just be a smoother process, you know. Once you can gear your mind around particularly what your partner desires, and hone in on those in order is important.
Mm-hmm,
If you can do those things in order,
mm-hmm.
keeping that in mind, I just think it'll make for a much smoother relationship.
And I know we keep harping on the in order, and that's because it is important. Because it's one thing to know the love languages, but it's another thing to be able to rank them in order of importance to you. Because some people may not care about a lot of the things on this list, and then some people may rank them in order, and one is really, really strong for them, and the others fall in line somewhere below that, not so much of importance, and then they could have like an equal rating. Some can have two that are equal. So it's important to know the order and how strongly your partner feels about them. For me, my top is quality time, but running neck and neck with that is physical touch. I could not be with a partner. Thank you. Thank you. I could not be with a partner that doesn't want to physically touch me. If we go all day and there is no physical touch, to me that starts to equate to some sort of a breakdown somewhere. But as I said many times, gifts are nice, but gifts don't wow me. I'm not a very materialistic person. Um, I prefer gestures of the heart, so those rank way more important to me than gifts do. So that's why we keep harping on the fact of order of importance is big when it comes to love languages. Not just to know them, but know how they rank. So basically, I think that's all that we have today. Unless you had anything else, babe.
No,
No, that was
I
it.
think that's all I have.
All right,
Really.
guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with us today. Thank you so much for being here with us at People's Real Talk, where we talk
To real
to real
people.
people. All right, guys. See you next time. Bye bye.